Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai Satcharitra An Insight-Episode-52. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnuhu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We have been listening to the miracles experienced by S.B. Dumal. He first arrived for Baba's darshan during the year 1907 and was greatly impressed with his simple way of living and supernatural powers and became an ardent devotee of Baba. Dumal was a devotee of Sri Gajanan Maharaj. Sri Gajanan Maharaj is one of the perfect masters as that of Shirdi Sai Baba. While Sri Gajanan Maharaj took Mahasamadhi, our omniscient Baba, standing at the edge of Dwarakamai, glancing at the sky, pronounced thus, "Here goes Gajanan Maharaj. He has gone before me." Dumal also took Sriman Babu Sahib Bhuti to Baba. Both became staunch devotees of Baba while Gajanan Maharaj was still on his mortal coil. All-knowing Gajanan Maharaj was aware that subsequently Dumal and Bhuti had to acquire spiritual training from Baba. Hence, he instructed them to have Baba's darshan. The infallible and far-sighted Gajanan Maharaj was cognizant that these two devotees will dedicate their heart and soul in the service of Sadguru Sai Maharaj, and Bhuti would be the most blessed one to construct the Samadhi Mandir of Baba. The Sadgurus deal with each person at his level of consciousness and they remove all the limitations of mind and body that are not conducive for the evolution of a soul slowly and gradually. Nothing is concealed for the clairvoyant masters, and what methods they would adopt for the gross, subtle, or mental level can never be predicted by anyone. So, Dumal and Bhuti were sent by Gajanan Maharaj to be under the umbrella of Shirdi Sai Baba to get more refined in their spiritual pursuit. We knew that Dumal was completely guided by Baba not only in divine but also in mundane matters. Dumal has given an extensive interview to Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji, revealing many incidences that portrays the all-pervasiveness of Baba, and all those miracles were recorded and published by Swamiji in his books. The relentless and paramount efforts of Narasimha Swamiji have left the Sai world with such unsurpassable treasures. Until Swamiji's compilations were published, Sai Baba's teachings, miracles, and philosophies were only hearsay stories. There were not many authentic or personal interviews. Baba kindled the light, and Swamiji, a great saint and scholar, carried the torch of Sai Baba to the entire world. He learned Marathi, travelled far and wide for the sake of interviewing the devotees, meticulously recorded every incident, compiled them as guided by Baba, and published the same in the form of books. It is because of him that the Sai Bhakti movement has proliferated in every nook and corner of India and in the entire world. If we knew Shirdi Sai Baba today, it is because of Swamiji's unyielding efforts. He traveled throughout the country to propagate Sai faith. Almost every Sai book in English language is underpinned by the authentic Sai literatures authored by Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji. Sri Narasimha Swamiji is an apostle of Sai Baba of Shirdi. Born at Bhavani in Tamil Nadu, he returned to Chennai during the year 1939 and started the All India Sai Samaj and constructed the most beautiful Sai Mandir in Mylapore. We Sai devotees are indebted to Swamiji, and it is essential to show our reverence to him while we pray to our Sadguru Sai Baba. Swamiji was handpicked by Sai to spread his glory to the Sai seekers. Swamiji's books were profound, accurate, inspiring, that stirred the minds of the readers and enlightened them with Sai's philosophies. Until then, few dubious and ignorant ones looked upon Sai Baba as a mere miracle maker, but Swamiji's books articulated the truth that Baba is a divine manifestation and a universal Guru. He is the ocean of grace and abode of mercy, has taken this human form to guide us to the eternal abode. Swamiji's books brought multitudes to Shirdi, and Sai temples have skyrocketed throughout the world, for which we need to submit our humble gratitude at the divine feet of Swamiji. I wish and humbly request all of you to find a place in your homes for these sacred Sai literatures, as reading them with reverence will please our Sadguru, and he would destroy poverty of ignorance, giving the reader wealth, peace of mind, and prosperity of knowledge. Swamiji didn't get to see the mortal form of Sai Baba, but the happiest and blessed moment in his life was seeing the Samadhi of Sai Baba. Let me quote the words of Swamiji addressed at a meeting in Calcutta. My hunger for spiritual food was not satisfied till I came over to Shirdi. At Shirdi, I was given more than I could take. I had at last discovered my Sadguru. He, Samartha Sadguru Sainath Maharaj, and I live in constant communion with him. Sai Baba, like a magnificent wave of fire, engulfed each one of the millions of cells in Narasimha Swamiji's body, and in lieu thereon granted him a new life. The old body of Narasimha Swamiji was no more, and it became Sai Swarupi Narasimha Swamiji. He devoted all his life in spreading Sai's name throughout the length and breadth of India. His work to the Sai world is a pinnacle. He transformed the word-of-mouth stories of Sai as history of Sai Baba by interviewing innumerable ardent devotees such as S.B. Dumal, who were also eminent personalities in the society, and painstakingly documented all of them by taking their signatures. Getting back to the original thread, let me quote another instance from the life of Dumal, which portrays the guidance of Baba in his professional affairs also. There was a charge against and conviction of 3 brothers for grievous hurt inasmuch as they had attacked their opponents and broken a bone of one of them. The injured man had been attended to by a medical man who was not qualified or certified doctor and treated for over 20 days in his private hospital. Dumal was engaged for the appellants, and he went up with an appeal memo and a bail application. The sessions judge, who was a senior European officer, remarked on hearing the application that the case was strong against the appellants and he was not going to allow bail. Dumal at once beseeched Baba and then turned to the judge. He told the judge that the evidence of a bone being broken was that of a quack or unqualified person, and that the prosecution evidence was interested and unreliable, and that as all three appellants who were agriculturalists were in jail, the agricultural work of their family could not be carried on, that in case their sentence should be confirmed, they could be sent to jail finally, etc. At once, the judge allowed bail. When the case came up for argument, the public prosecutor asked if Dumal was going to argue on the merits for an acquittal against such a strong judgment, or whether he would briefly ask for clemency, in which latter case he would not oppose. Though Dumal felt the strength of judgment, he put on a brave face and said that I would go the whole hog and fight for an acquittal. He did argue for a reversal before the judge, but wound up with a prayer for reduction of sentence. The judge retorted that if Dumal was merely asking for mercy of the court, he need not have taken so much time to contest the conviction. When the public prosecutor was arguing, the judge wanted to know how he made out of a case of grievous hurt, as the opinion of an unqualified man, a quack, could not be accepted as to the breakage of a bone. The reply was that the injured man had been in the hospital for over 20 days. The judge sharply answered, that is an argument which you can advance before a third-class magistrate. Remember, you are arguing before a sessions judge and not before a third-class magistrate. On receiving this snub, the public prosecutor collapsed. There was no further argument and the appellants were acquitted. This was a startling judgment which again portrays the clairvoyance and Baba's divine intervention. There is one more instance of Baba's help in professional matters. There was a criminal case from Shirdi. There have always been party feeling and factions at Shirdi as in most villages. Raghuji Shinde, a servitor of Baba and brother of Baba's ardent devotee Bagoji Shinde, with 5 others were arrested on a charge of outraging the modesty of a Marwadi woman, and on the direct evidence of number of eyewitnesses were convicted and sentenced to 6 months of imprisonment. Tatya Patil Kote's sympathies and help were on the side of Raghuji Shinde, as they were faultless, and Bagoji Shinde was very depressed and felt abased as his brother was accused in outraging the modesty of a woman. So, Tatya took up a copy of the judgment and papers to eminent lawyers like the Honorable G.S. Kaparde and H.S. Dikshit, and retired magistrates like Rao Bahadur H.V. Sate, who were at Shirdi. These found the judgment was strong and gave little hope of success in case an appeal should be filed. Tatya Patil was keen on an acquittal and went to Baba, who simply told him, "Go to Bhav with the papers." He accordingly came to Nasik and showed the papers to S.B. Dumal. After going through the judgment and finding hardly any hope of success on appeal, Dumal told Tatya to employ eminent counsel from Bombay or prominent lawyers at Ahmednagar, where the appeal had to be filed. But Tatya told that Baba's order was to go to him, and immediately Dumal felt that he had neither option nor responsibility on his shoulders. Hence, he quickly wrote out an appeal memo after studying the papers and took it to the district magistrate at his residence. The magistrate asked Dhumal, without receiving or reading the judgment or appeal memo, what the matter was about, and Dhumal very briefly recited that it was a conviction of 6 appellants for outraging the modesty of a woman based on the testimony of number of witnesses who professed to have seen it, and that the case had now come up in appeal to him. The magistrate said it looked like a strong case and asked Dhumal what he thought of it. Dhumal said that the case and its number of witnesses were due to faction in the village. "Do you think so?" the magistrate asked, and Dhumal replied, "Think? I am more than sure of it." Dhumal gave this courageous reply spontaneously to the judge. The reply was so powerful and sounded as though Baba spoke through him. The magistrate pronounced judgment at once, orally acquitting all the appellants, and immediately took up my appeal memo and wrote on it his judgment, mentioning the facts Dhumal relied upon. As soon as this was over, he asked Dhumal, "How is your Sai Baba of Shirdi? Is he a Muslim or a Hindu? What does he teach you?" Dhumal answered that Sai Baba was neither a Hindu nor a Muslim, but above both, and that he could not state what his teachings were, to know which the magistrate must go in person to Baba at Shirdi. The magistrate promised to go and in fact tried one summer day to visit Shirdi, but gave up the idea at Kopargaon on account of the excessive heat. In this situation, Baba penetrated the mind of the magistrate and instigated him to give a fair judgment. The judge didn't give the verdict in favor of Dhumal because he was a devotee of Baba. Rather, the thoughts of the judge were made to freeze and instantaneously spelled out the judgment that Baba desired, as the convicts were innocent. The prompt oral judgment, without reading or receiving any papers, of course, without sending for the records of the first court or giving notice to the police or public prosecutor, followed up by questions about Sai Baba, were clear indications of the power that brought about the acquittal. What followed would confirm this view. Dhumal returned from Ahmednagar to Shirdi. There, on that day, the residents were sadly going to attend the cremation of Dikshit's daughter. But Baba called some of them to him at the masjid and said, "Do not go away. I will show you some chamatkar, that is miracle." Since Baba mentioned about miracle, the people thought Baba might resurrect the dead girl, so they delayed the funeral, as they did not see any miracle, and went away to attend the funeral. Shortly thereafter, Dhumal returned from Ahmednagar with news of the acquittal by the district magistrate in the above fashion. Then they found what the chamatkar referred to by Baba was. Yes, to everyone's astonishment, Raghu and 5 others were released, which was another incredible leela of Baba. Baba's compassion and guidance was not only confined to temporal matters, but also freed Dhumal from worldly shackles. Dhumal lost his wife at a very young age and was hardly 36 years. She died during the year 1909. Dhumal was concerned about her soul's welfare and was diligently performing the monthly ceremonies, which was termed as Masik. When the sixth month ceremony was to be performed, devotees, please listen attentively. Baba advised Dhumal to do it at Shirdi and promised to grant liberation to her soul. What greater blessing one can seek for? Sadguru declared that he would grant Sadgati to her. Who else can make such assertions unless he is an embodiment of God? He is manifested for the sake of his devotees. He who can perceive the past, present, and future can only make such pronouncements. The zenith or the goal of spiritual course is attaining liberation, and that cannot be granted by a mere guru, but only by a perfect master like our Sadguru Sai Baba. The same has been reflected by Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji, who wrote 1008 names, that is Sahasranama of Shirdi Sai Baba. As devotees chant them, they might come across the 510th name, which says, Om Shri Sai Dumale Upasani Patniyo Nirvane Sadgati Pradaya Namaha, which means, one who has bestowed liberation to respective wives of Dumal and Upasani, to him I submit my salutations. The only one who holds the virtue to grant liberation to a soul is God. He can grant in any manner he wishes, but he must descend on earth and take a form to grant liberation to the jivas, and that form is Shirdi Sai Baba. Though Baba assumed a physical form and becomes like a person with a body and showers affection upon those devotees, in addition to this, he hides his powers and behaves with the devotees as an intimate companion or as a friend or a relative. His very purpose is to fulfill the desires of his loving devotees, and along with this, he grants liberation to deserving souls. When thousands of Maharashtrians and people from far and wide come to the holy city Nashik for performing Shraddha, Baba advised Dumal to perform it in Shirdi and are sure to grant liberation to his wife. What is the significance of Nashik? The city of Nashik is located at the banks of the holy Godavari river. It gets its name from the episode of great epic Ramayana where Lakshman hacked off the nose of Surpanaka, Ravana's sister. Many significant incidences related to this epic has occurred in Nashik. Lord Rama made Nashik his abode during his 14 years in exile. Hence, this region is termed as Dandakaranya. Aranya means jungle and Dandakas, place of punishment. This is where the Divine Mother Sita was abducted by Ravana. It is one of the most important pilgrimage cities of the Hindus, and many go to perform the Shraddha ceremony there. Listeners, you might recall about the devotee Govind Balaram Mankar. He performed the Shraddha ceremony of his father in Nashik and from there went to Shirdi for Baba's darshan. As per Baba's pronouncement, Dumal went to Shirdi and performed that month Masik there. Baba also asked for rupees 15 dakshana and that was offered. Dumal had unswerving faith in the decrees of Baba and says, I have implicit faith in the truth of Baba's declarations and have had ample verification in matters which admit of verification, which naturally fortifies my faith in his statements as to matters unseen and apparently incapable of verification. I am sure my wife got Sadgati by Baba's grace. Dumal was surrendering to the guidance of Baba without the faintest fear for his future, in spite of the fact that his ways were enigmatic. Until Baba's Mahasamadhi, Dhumal never acted without Baba's consent, alike in spiritual and temporal view. But this did not stop there. He continued this practice thereafter. Even after Baba's Mahasamadhi, Dhumal would cast lots and regarded the picked up chit as Baba's ordain and diligently carried on the same. His complete surrender to the Guru's words not only gave a good recognition in his social life but also elevated his spiritual pursuit. Let me share an instance from Dhumal's public life. He was appointed as the first non-official president of the Nashik district local board, and after taking Baba's consent, he served in this post from the year 1917 to 1925. The person holding this status had to personally sign thousands of papers without the use of a facsimile seal, a proceeding which took many hours of his day. And another consequence of this heavy public work was it ruined his legal practice and reduced his income tax from 260 odd rupees to 0. Anyhow, he faced the work and went on trusting in Baba for the proper execution of the office. In recognition of the sacrifices, in the year 1927, he was granted Sanad of Rao Bahadur. There are several instances in which Baba has helped at every turn or crisis of Dhumal's life. We shall listen to those Leelas in the coming episodes. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.